Hey everyone, I'm JMO76. Welcome to the Gaming Nation. Today I am bringing you a brand new series of Transport Fever 2 Console Edition. So we're on a new map, all new locations, all new cities, all new resources. Really excited about this one. So this is planning to be a long running series, so let's get right into it. So we are on Console Edition, we are on a large map, and we are out in the Pacific. We are using Asian vehicles. This is the first time I've seen the map, so not really sure what I'm going to be looking at just yet. But let's take a quick look around here and look at in terms of resources. So first things first, get a sense here. What are our cities looking at? What are the types of cities that we have here? How many do we have? What are they all about? So in terms of size, okay, so our biggest city is Hanoi, Baghdad, Tokyo, Sydney, Auckland, Chongqing, Calcutta, Nagpur, Davao City, Taoyuan, Jakarta, Ho Chi Minh City, Surat, Istanbul, and Zhengzhou. So we've got some pretty big ranges here in terms of cities. Why don't we just look at the contrast here? So Zhengzhou, let's see where we are here. Oh, very tiny, very tiny. So this could be a real challenge if this becomes our hub city. That's a possibility for sure. What about going to the other end of the spectrum? Let's check out Hanoi. So Hanoi, okay, so we definitely have some significant growth here with Hanoi. That's a possibility too. But you know what? I'm looking for something that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Trying to take something that's a little bit smaller and developing it to be the biggest city on the map. So let's see if we can make that a reality. So you know what? What I'm thinking right now, I like it when I have cities where the first resource is going to be food. Find it a nice way to start the game, especially when you're in the 1850s. So let's check out Taoyuan. Okay, this is going to be a challenge. This is definitely going to be a challenge. Um, I like this. I like this. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's get it underway here. So our first thing, we definitely have the ability to get an easy line up and running here in terms of food. So we do have the Taoyuan food processing plant. We do also have the Taoyuan farm. And of course, we have the Zhengzhou farm. So that's going to be our first setup. We're going to be producing food. So we're going to get 3 different lines going here. Well, actually, you know what we'll do? We'll get 2 lines going. And what we'll also do is for the Taoyuan farm, that'll be a feeder line to the processing plant, also dropping off the goods back in Taoyuan, and then coming back down to the Taoyuan farm. So we'll be able to make a little bit more profitable when we're running a line and it's bringing profit one way and profit another way. All right, so first things first, just to jump here into our city. In terms of need, it's a pretty small little place, and it's definitely laid out kind of all over the place. So what we want to do here is we want to make some early connections. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're actually going to establish a bit of a road network. And I do like to use the medium streets. They do cost a little bit more for sure, but I do like to get things laid out. And that does help the CPU with a little bit of growth early on. So we're going to get that laid out. And what I can see here is potentially us shipping our goods here into the hub of the city. I haven't thought too much about it yet in terms of railways, because again, I'm just looking at the map. But we will have the ability to have some high-speed rail later in the game. Zhengzhou and Istanbul, obviously being the 2 major locations there that we can hit really early. But also getting up to Hanoi. And Baghdad, I'm thinking probably is going to be more of an ocean route. Same with Calcutta, but we'll get that established. Davao City has potential, as does Tokyo, depending on how I want to do the line to get it over there. But we do have some lines that we can get to early on. So, but anyways, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. So let's start small here. So we are going to need to get a couple things up and running, starting with our truck station. So looking here at location, we know that we're going to be shipping food And right now, food is in the lower part of the city. But I do want to establish now our section here so that we can get everything up and running for later. So let's just take an opportunity. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but let's take the opportunity to establish our trucking line right now. And what I want to do with this actually is configure it right now just to make it a little bit bigger. Again, I know it's early game. We don't have money for this, but if we don't do it now, the likelihood of us finding success later is definitely going to be challenging. I'm also looking at that line and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Again, I know it's early game, but what do we want to do in terms of later in the game? And I think one of those things definitely that we're going to want to look at is going to be having potentially a third terminal there. Or if we don't do that, potentially adding street access in some capacity, because we really could do that if we wanted to have that as a dual passenger stop as well. That could be something that we look at. And I know it's early game. We're getting way ahead of ourselves, but I think that might be an option for us to pursue for sure. Even if it's a small passenger platform, we can figure that one out later. But what I like right now is we've got the location there. So I'm happy with that. So we're going to expand on that as the city grows. Speaking of expanding, I also want to have a little bit more street access here. Again, just in connecting everything. And the city will grow on its own, but this is going to help things out a little bit. So I am going to just unlock it now in terms of the game speed and let the days start to progress, because the cities may start to develop a little bit on their own. Okay, so next up, what we want to do is we want to get a road depot up and running so that what we can start to do here is we can get some vehicles on it and we can get some production underway. So we do have a couple of stops here that we're going to be working with. One thing I sometimes do like to do, and I know it's early game, but I do like to sometimes grow some of the road networks just to make sure that transportation is a little bit quicker. But we are going to pop down the one road vehicle now. And let's take a quick look here, just in terms of our network. Do we want to spend some money? And do we want to get some of these networks developed and maybe change the location of them just to speed things up? Because we do have this farm that we're going to attach to, and that's going to be an expensive run there. So we're going to need to run a new road there. What we could potentially do is speed up that process, make it more of a direct line. So that's a possibility we could do for sure. But what we definitely know we're going to do is we are going to expand our road network, we're going to grow a little bit in terms of our road network here just to increase the capacity. And again, it is going to be more expensive, but it's going to be worth it. So let's take a look here. Okay, so that's going to be 22,000 just to expand there. Again, I think it's probably worth it because it is going to allow us faster transportation. We can't do it there, but that's okay. We should be able to get our hub up and running there. And again, we'll expand the network here just to speed it up. And we won't be able to do it there, but that's okay. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to get our road network up and running, and we'll run it across here. But before we do that, we are definitely going to have to get something set up here in terms of transporting goods quickly, simply because we don't have anything yet. So we do need to go once again to our truck stations, and we're going to need to pop down a couple of them here. So where can we still get it lit up? We are good right there. Okay, so that works perfectly. So let's just adjust this here. Okay, we'll get that set up there. Looks perfect. A little more, right there. Okay, boom, pop that down. There's one down. And then we'll jump over here. Same thing. We do want to have it in a position where we can get all the goods dropped off and get them transported over fairly easily. So I will just, you know what, I'm actually going to put it on this side for now. That may have to change later, depending on whether or not we're going to be shipping these goods via railroad. But we'll pop that down for now. So we've got our second one. And then let's jump over here. This is going to be a little bit tougher, and it's going to suck. I'm going to have to take this field out. I really, really don't want to do that. It's going to cost me 270,000, and we're early in game. I don't want to do that, but I really don't have any other option. So, really disappointed by that, but let's do it. Let's bulldoze. All right, 200,000. Ouch, 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 ouch. That hurts. That hurts. Okay, so let's get our streets here up and running, and we'll go with the medium country road for now. No, we don't want to upgrade that. We do want to switch to regular design. Okay, so we'll get that up and running. And we got to be really, really clear here on our road network, because we don't want to drift into the water here. That's going to cost us a fortune. So let's move this to a line where we can make some adjustments here. And we're going to piece it together pretty slowly, just so that we can get it through there. All right, perfect. Okay, so I could potentially run it here, and the rest of the road would be done. That is a possibility. I could also just take it straight through and line it up here and get rid of some of this road, because we wouldn't need it for now. So maybe happy medium here. So we'll start there. Depending on the cost, yikes, 300,000 to run that road through, because we've got some serious slope there. You know what? I'm not feeling good about that. It's too early in the game right now, so we're just going to run it there. We're going to connect it. Now we've got the road network established. Okay, we've taken that field out. So again, we're going to pop down another truck station, and we're going to put it right here. So prime location for us. Let's see here. Can we get it a little farther? Yes, we can. We want to take it out as far as we possibly can, because that's going to limit the amount of distance we have to go. Okay, so right there, perfect. Okay, we'll pop it down right there. Okay, so now we have got our truck stations up and running, and what we need to do is we need to get our lines up and running so we can get some food going here. So let's start our first line. So we are going to create a line, and that line is going to run from here, Taiyuan South, to Taiyuan Halt. So that's going to be our first line. And I am going to ultimately add another stop in here once we get things up and running. We're not going to do it just yet, because that's going to cost too much money. But I am going to get this up and running, and then we will have a third stop in there. So we have that line established, and we will change the names eventually, just to make sure that we don't confuse ourselves once we get too many lines up and running here. All right, and now we need our second line. So our second line is going to run here from Taiyuan East through to Taiyuan Halt. So now we have our two lines for production, and that's going to be bringing in the food, and it's going to be processed here. Okay, and this is going to be a nice easy one running into Taiyuan when we upgrade the lines. All right, so now that we've got the lines established, we need to get some vehicles on these lines. Okay, so let's go off to our depot, and we're going to buy some vehicles. So right now, early game, we really have absolutely nothing other than the Asian horse-drawn carriage. So what we're going to do is we're going to go bulk up on these right away. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with, let's say 10 for each line. Yeah, we'll do. Good enough. All right. So we've bought those. Now we're going to put those on our first line. Okay, and so they're going to be off and running. Let's see them go here. Always have to zoom in and get a nice start here. Look at those guys. Oh yeah, absolutely beautiful. And again, I love the visuals of this game. The console edition, the team that did the port for Transport Fever 2 from PC to console, these people are absolutely awesome. They knocked it out of the park. I know you don't get the mods and those types of things, but the game itself is stunning. They absolutely owned it. I got the horses here. I'm not sure what this dude's doing, but it's a different style of riding a horse, I guess. We got the birds in the background. The line is on its way. Food is going to be coming soon. Okay, so while they're off, we're then going to get our other vehicles on our second line here. And again, same thing. We want to get 10 vehicles ready to go. So there they are, okay? And now let's get them up and running on line 2. Okay, so they are now off. Now let's speed it up here a little bit because again, we have spent 1.5 million thus far. We are bleeding money. This is going to be a long run over to Taiwan East, and it's going to cost us a lot. I know that it's going to be expensive, but that said, it's going to be worth it in the end. Once we start getting food to the processing plant, then likely what I'll be doing is I'm going to extend our line 1. I'm going to bring it into the city, and then I'm going to feed it outwards. And so to help with that process, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to spend a little bit more money, again, money that we don't have, but I think I'm going to look at potentially doing an upgrade here just to see. Yeah, because right now I can upgrade this to our largest street. It's going to mean that we can be moving traffic easier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a medium street, and I'm ultimately going to run this out so that it's going to speed up the process of dropping off the goods and getting back on track. And so I think the easiest way for that right now would be creating a new road and potentially running it out like so. Now, I don't like how that looks visually. And it does cost a lot of money, but that will speed things up. That said, if I were to grow outward sort of like this, what that would do is it would allow this zone to begin to fill in really nicely in terms of development. So I think I could potentially do that. I don't know. I'm really struggling with that one because I do want to be able to speed up the line, and I know that this city is going to begin, once it begins to grow, it's going to grow fast, and you want to be able to make these moves now. However, if I do that, it's really going to make it difficult for the transport. So what I'm going to do, you know what? Let's just go with the original instinct. We're going to bring it over to here, and we're going to put it down right there. Okay, so that's going to give us the opportunity to move fairly quickly through that line. Remember when I said the cities are going to really start growing quickly? Yeah, well, they are. So we've already got a street running through here, and my whole plans with regards to our depot means that I'm going to have to do some unique construction on the fly when we get there. So, and we will get there. But that said, let's check here and see how our line is coming. So we do have our food plant. It looks like we're getting our first deliveries. So production is underway, and this is a level 4 food, potentially up to a level 4 food processing plant. So this is going to be big in terms of supplying the local area as well as other markets with food. So we're going to have to see how that goes. But right now we're transporting around 40%. We're going to have to increase that number. I don't want to start shipping goods or extending the line to ship more goods over to Taiwan until this line is actually getting enough food there that it's going to make it worthwhile, and then I'll begin to ship it in. And again, it's going to be a modification of our line 1 where they're going to be shipping the goods from here. They're going to be processed here. They're also going to pick up the goods here. They're going to ship them in to Taiwan Exchange, drop them off, continue on their way back to the original stop. So that is the goal. And as you can see here, yeah, so we've got really nice production at Taoyuan Farm here. We're actually not shipping enough already. So just looking at this line 1, we're already way over capacity. So right now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to extend that capacity outwards, and just to give us a sense here as to how much goods we're producing that we're not actually shipping. So there's quite a few goods there. And again, these vehicles are moving as fast as they can. Production at this time is so low, we just don't have a lot of it. Yeah, so we're definitely bleeding a lot of money. And of course, the other thing that we do have to remember, we do still have our loan of $5 million. We spent about close to $2 million. We may, at this point early in the game, if we don't get some production faster, we may end up going into debt early on, and that's okay. That's okay. We're in it for the long game. Oh, in case I forgot to mention it, we are going to be JMO76 Goods to You Limited. So that is our company name, and we do need to build our headquarters. I'm not going to put it down just yet. I do want to wait a little bit, and then we will get it down. So that is the plan, ultimately. I know about stations, yeah. So we will get it down, and ultimately we're going to see how things are going to go in terms of profit. So over the last 12 months, we're losing 182,000. Again, it is early game, and we are going to lose a lot of money in that process. But that is how the game works, right? So we will get there. It's just early on. This game definitely costs us a lot of money. But we are going to get there. We are getting the shipping now. And I suspect if we check out the lines, we're probably actually starting to bring in some profit here in terms of our lines. So let's take a quick look here at our lines. And let's see what we have here. All right, yeah. So, I mean, right away, look at that. Line 2 is bringing us 74,000 right now. Line 1, 23,000. We're not even at actually full capacity in terms of our cargo right now, but that is going to keep us afloat here in terms of the early game while we look to develop some other industries. So we're going to let this run for a bit. We're going to let this industry continue to produce. And as you can see, we don't have enough. We don't have enough vehicles getting in there yet to make it actually viable to ship to Taiwan. So we will look at that. As we're doing that, though, just to take a quick look around the map, there are some other industries that I'm noticing right away that we could definitely work on. So we can see here we have the iron ore in Istanbul, and well, actually two iron ores in Istanbul. So we do have the ability to ship that down to the steel mill. We also do have a coal mine up here, so we will be able to ship that down as well. That's going to be a bit of a longer run, and I'm thinking we're probably going to want to look for that. We're probably going to want to look for a railway, but if we can get that down, we can start producing there based on those lines. The downside is we don't actually have another coal mine in close proximity, so production is going to hurt there simply because we need two resources in order to make the steel. So we need 2 coals, 2 iron ores. So that'll be a challenge. We don't have it. I mean, we do have it outside of Tokyo, but again, at this point in the game, we just don't have enough money for that. Woohoo! We are at profitability, people. We are at profitability. Very nice. So we're at 48,000. I'm thinking here, just looking very quickly, we have a lot of supply at Taoyuan East, so we can definitely increase these lines. And we can definitely get a little bit more out of them, I think. Let's just see there. Yeah, so we can definitely put some more vehicles on these lines. Anyways, at this point in time, we've got our first network up and running. So I'm really happy about that. We have a lot of other things that we're going to begin to exploit. We're going to start with the iron and ore and the construction materials over here, and we're going to look at that next time to start off. But the really big thing is we're going to start to figure out what we can do with oil, because anyone who knows Transport Fever knows it's all about oil, and it's all about making the money from the oil production, and that is going to be our goal for next time. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the stream today. This is going to be a long running series, and I'm really looking forward to it. If you enjoyed the video today, if you liked what you heard, you liked what you saw, and you want to see this series continue on long in the future, I would love it, love it, love it, love it, love it if you could like the stream, sorry, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are a new and upcoming channel, and I really appreciate the support. And as always, if you have any thoughts or ideas, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and I appreciate the support.